No one saw this coming, yet every second was caught on camera. In a shocking turn for the love and hip-hop crowd, Jim Jones brought forward leaked evidence that could wreck Chrissy's reputation and her marriage. What was supposed to be a normal filming day spiraled into chaos when Jim, tired of whispers and backroom talk, decided to put everything out in the open. The truth that followed was far worse than anyone had imagined. The air went still. Shock rippled through the room, and Chrissy's husband suddenly found himself in the middle of a scandal no one thought would ever surface. Now people are debating whether Jim just revealed the biggest betrayal in the show's history, or if this was another case of someone going too far for drama. The tension backstage hadn't even faded from the last blow-up when things took another turn. Fans of the show know the drama rarely pauses and the cameras don't miss a thing. Still, even for a series built on confrontation, no one could have guessed what Jim was about to reveal. It started quietly, small comments behind closed doors, low conversations over drinks, sly glances when Chrissy's name came up. For weeks, there had been rumors. Chrissy brushed them off as jealousy. Her husband laughed them away. But Jim? He was paying attention. Unlike everyone else, he had actual proof. That day was supposed to be light filming. Nothing heavy. Chrissy arrived with her usual self-assurance, her husband beside her, showing a united front as if nothing could touch them. But just beneath that image was a truth ready to crack it apart. Jim Jones has always been a bold figure. Respected in Harlem, known for his straight talk and unwillingness to sugarcoat anything. Like him or not, people knew he wouldn't stay silent if something bothered him. So when the cameras were rolling and the energy in the room shifted, he made his move. Locking eyes with Chrissy, he spoke in a low but cutting tone. "You might want to tell your man to come clean before I do it for him?" The room froze. Even the producers hesitated, unsure if this was just TV drama or something real. Chrissy's face tensed. "What are you talking about, Jim?" Her voice wavered slightly, suggesting she might already suspect. Jim leaned back, almost amused. "Don't act like you don't know. I've got the texts, the photos, everything. Keep pretending and I'll show them right here." The reaction was instant. Crew members gasped, cast members covered their mouths, others leaned in to catch every detail. Chrissy's husband shifted uncomfortably, his confident front starting to crumble. "Stop it, Jim. This is between me and my wife," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. Jim didn't hold back. "Between you and your wife? No. The moment you went behind her back and thought you'd get away with it, it became everyone's business. You embarrassed her, and you thought no one would know. Not while I'm here." The cameras zoomed closer. This wasn't scripted. This was real. Chrissy turned to her husband, her voice breaking. "Tell me he's lying. Tell me this isn't true." Her hands gripped the chair as if she needed something steady. Jim didn't wait. Pulling out his phone, he scrolled, then held it up. "Here, texts, pictures, proof. He's not the man you think he is." Chaos erupted. Cast members rushed forward to see. Chrissy reached for the phone, but Jim pulled it away. "Don't worry. The world will see it soon enough." Her husband's face drained of color. Sweat formed on his forehead. "It's not what it looks like," he muttered, but it sounded weak, like something rehearsed. For Chrissy, the floor seemed to vanish under her. She had defended him in public, stood by him through criticism, and now the evidence was right there, visible, undeniable. Jim turned toward the cameras. "People like to say I'm the problem between me and Chrissy, but look at what she's dealing with. Look at her so-called husband. This is the truth." The crew hesitated. Cut the feed or keep filming. Some thought it was too real. Others thought it was gold for the show. Chrissy stood, tears welling. "You humiliated me," she told her husband. "You lied, and now everyone is going to know." He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Jim continued, "This isn't about me anymore. It's about honesty. You couldn't even give her that." The words landed hard. For years, Jim and Chrissy's ups and downs had been a central part of the show. Passionate, dramatic, messy. But now, Chrissy was the one in the harsh spotlight, and her husband's secret was out for millions to see. Backstage, whispers turned to loud exclamations. "Is this real? Chrissy doesn't deserve this." Then came the moment no one expected. Chrissy's husband snapped. "You think you're better than me, Jim? You think you can ruin my life?" he yelled. "You don't know what I've been through." Jim stepped forward, unmoved. "What you've been through doesn't excuse betraying her. Now deal with the consequences." Security stepped in before it got physical, separating them. Chrissy sank into a chair, crying, refusing comfort. The hurt was too raw, too public. Everything was on tape. The accusations, the tears, the anger. This was no longer just another episode. It was a moment that would stay with viewers. As the scene ended in a cliffhanger, fans were stunned. What exactly was in that evidence? How damaging was it? And could Chrissy recover after being blindsided like this on camera? The fallout from Jim's revelation had only just begun. What had started as tense but manageable drama behind the scenes quickly spiraled into complete chaos. Producers rushed around, cast members huddled in urgent whispers, and Chrissy sat frozen at the center of it all. shocked, humiliated, and devastated. But the moment that truly set everything ablaze came when Jim revealed exactly what was in those so-called receipts. Phones buzzed nonstop as word from the set leaked almost instantly to industry contacts. Social media exploded with guesses. Some thought it was about cheating, others suspected shady financial dealings. But when Jim spoke, all the noise stopped. Pointing straight at Chrissy's husband, Jim declared, "This man has been living a double life. You want to play the perfect family for the cameras? I've got proof you've been creeping behind Chrissy's back, not just with other women, but with illegal business deals that could get you locked up." Gasps filled the room. Chrissy's face went pale, her lips trembling. What? What are you saying?" she asked, barely above a whisper. Jim's thumb swiped across his phone screen until he stopped on a series of screenshots. Bank transfers, late-night texts, hotel bookings when she thought you were working, and worse, emails tying you to people already under investigation. The atmosphere grew suffocating. No one moved. No one even dared to breathe. Chrissy's husband stammered, "It's not what it looks like. You don't understand." Jim cut him off. "Don't start. You thought you were clever, but you left a trail. And I've got every piece of it right here." The camera zoomed in as curious cast members craned their necks to see. Messages with pet names to another woman, receipts from expensive hotel stays on nights Chrissy believed he was working, and those emails linking him to people with criminal records and active legal cases. The room was stunned. Heads shook. Whispers spread. "She doesn't deserve this," someone muttered. Chrissy covered her face, sobs muffled by her hands. This wasn't just a personal betrayal. It was emotional, financial, and potentially criminal. Her voice cracked as she turned toward him. "How could you do this to me? To us?" Instead of remorse, he snapped back, defensive and cold. "You think Jim cares about you? He's doing this to embarrass us and tear down everything we've built. He's only showing you one side." Jim's temper flared. "Make you look bad? You did that yourself. I didn't make you cheat. I didn't make you take dirty money. That's all you." The tension jumped another level when Chrissy's husband slammed his hand on the table, sending a glass shattering to the floor. The sharp crack echoed, making everyone flinch. Security rushed in, but Jim pushed forward, his voice booming. "Say whatever you want about me, but don't you dare disrespect Chrissy like this. Not while I'm here." It was the peak of the night. For years, fans had watched Jim and Chrissy's turbulent relationship, full of love, fights, and reconciliations. But this wasn't the usual clash between them. This time, Jim was defending her, and it made the moment even more intense. Within minutes, social media was in overdrive. Fans analyzed every screenshot, every leaked image, every second of footage. Some praised Jim for standing up for Chrissy. Others accused him of going too far by airing her pain in public. Either way, it was instantly the biggest scandal of the year. Behind the scenes, crew members scrambled to calm the chaos. Chrissy finally stood, her voice trembling but loud enough to cut through the noise. Enough. The room went silent. She turned to her husband, eyes red and swollen. "I believed you. I defended you when no one else did. I loved you. And this is how you repay me. By lying, sneaking around, and risking everything." He tried to speak, but she cut him off. "No, I don't want to hear it. Not tonight. Not ever." With sharp, deliberate steps, she walked out, the sound of her heels echoing across the set. The cameras followed as she brushed past producers, tears streaking down her cheeks. Jim stood still, watching her go. His jaw was tight, his breathing heavy. He didn't look like someone who'd won an argument. He looked furious and protective. Turning to her husband, his voice dropped to a warning. "You messed with the wrong woman. Now the whole world knows it." Security moved Jim out before things escalated again. But the damage was already permanent. The proof was out. The truth was public. Chrissy's life had been flipped upside down in front of millions. By that night, the fallout was everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Jim Jones exposes Chrissy's marriage scandal." Instagram filled with memes, Twitter fed on rumors, and gossip blogs posted breakdowns of every frame of footage. Chrissy stayed silent. No posts, no statements, nothing. Her quietness only made the public more curious. People close to production claimed she refused to film the next day, locking herself in her hotel room and ignoring producer calls. Some said she was ready to quit the show altogether. Others insisted she was waiting to confront her husband off camera. Jim chose a different approach after the chaos. He didn't put the actual evidence online, but he teased it, dropping vague captions, throwing subtle looks on Instagram stories. Just enough to keep people talking. Just enough to make sure the pressure stayed high. That only made the questions louder. If what he showed on camera was already damaging, what else was he keeping? How deep did this mess really go? It became clear almost immediately. This wasn't just a one-night drama. This was the start of a battle. Jim against Chrissy's husband. Loyalty against betrayal. Love against survival. And Chrissy was caught right in the middle, torn between the man she'd built her life with and the man who had just ripped the curtain away. After storming off set in tears, Chrissy disappeared completely. leaving everyone to speculate. Online, the theories ran wild. Had she quit the show? Was she facing her husband behind closed doors? Or was she planning a fiery return to settle the score? Inside the production trailer, the mood was tense. "I've never seen her like this," an assistant whispered. A producer shook his head. "If she leaves, this season's over." But for Chrissy, this wasn't about ratings. It was her life, her relationship, her name on the line. Hours later, she walked back in. Cameras snapped into action. Her face was still streaked from crying, but her eyes carried a new kind of determination. She moved slowly, deliberately. The room went silent. Jim leaned against the wall, arms folded. Her husband looked up, visibly uneasy. "I want answers," she said sharply. "Chrissy, not here," her husband tried to say. "No, you lied here. You humiliated me here. You can tell the truth here too." The cameras zoomed closer. For TV, it was gold. For Chrissy, it was personal. "Yes, I messed up," her husband finally admitted. "I was talking to someone else, but Jim twisted it. It wasn't serious. And the money stuff, it's business, not illegal. I was trying to take care of us." Chrissy let out a bitter laugh. "Take care of us? By sneaking around? By hiding? Money? You put my name at risk. You put me in danger. For what, a fling and quick cash?" He reached for her hand. She pulled away instantly. The rejection hit harder than his words. Jim stepped forward. "Don't try to flip this. You broke her trust. Own it." Her husband fired back. "And you? You think you're some hero? You've embarrassed her too. Don't act like you're saving her." The tension rose again, close to boiling over. But Chrissy raised her hand. "This isn't about Jim. It's about you and me. And right now, I don't even know who you are." Her husband dropped his gaze. Jim stayed quiet, but his stance said he was ready to back her up if needed. Chrissy wasn't leaning on him, though. She stood on her own. She turned to the crew. "Turn the cameras off." They hesitated. "Are you sure?" I said. "Turn them off," she snapped. The feed cut, but the footage they already had was enough to feed weeks of headlines. Enough had leaked to keep the story burning. In the days that followed, the scandal only grew. Blogs replayed the confrontation from every angle. Gossip pages picked apart the receipts frame by frame. Headlines screamed, "Chrissy betrayed again. Jim exposes the dark truth. Is this the end?" Chrissy went silent for 2 days. When she finally posted, it was a barefaced photo with the caption, "Sometimes the hardest truths set you free." Comments poured in. Support, sympathy, and advice to walk away for good. Jim kept dropping cryptic posts about loyalty and betrayal. He never used names, but everyone knew. Chrissy's husband vanished completely. No posts, no public statements. Sources claimed he'd been cut from filming and was already speaking to lawyers. Producers scrambled to reshape the season. This wasn't just another storyline. It had become the biggest scandal in the show's history. Then, late one night, cameras caught Chrissy leaving a hotel with her suitcase. Jim followed a few steps behind, not touching her, not stopping. Her, just walking beside her like a shield against the flashing lights. When reporters called out, Chrissy stopped. "I don't know what the future holds," she said softly. "But I do know this. I will never let lies define me again." It wasn't a resolution. It wasn't a happy ending, but it was strength. The image of her walking away, head high, heart bruised but unbroken, went viral. People called her a symbol of resilience in the middle of chaos. And as fans replayed Jim's on-set explosion, one question refused to fade. Was this the end of Chrissy's marriage, or the start of her transformation? Now I have to ask, did Jim do the right thing by bringing the truth out in public, or did he go too far? Can a marriage survive this kind of betrayal, or is it already done? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading all of them. And if you've made it this far through the madness, hit that like button so YouTube knows we've got to keep bringing you these stories. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because with Jim, Chrissy, and this crew, the chaos is nowhere near over.